let's look at how to multiply and divide on our standard form in real number system, right? So let's look at that. We have a video on what exactly a standard form is, how to add and subtract, so maybe you may consider watching that. Okay, now let's continue. The aim of this video is to show you how to multiply and divide in what under standard form. So let's use this simple example. So I believe that in mathematics there's a law governing everything. Okay, that is one thing you have to pay attention to. So make sure that you know the law, and then second, you know how to apply it. Now in multiplication and division, let's focus on the multiplication first. How do you multiply in standard form? Okay, so this is something like assume you have 9.3 multiplied by 2 exponent 2, everything being multiplied by what? 2 times 10 exponent 3. Now the question is that you have to check whether the thing is in standard form. What is a standard form? Maybe that's what I say earlier on, that considering watching that video, but a summary to that is a standard form. The number here has to be between 1 to 9. Is that okay? The number here, that is the focus, it must be between 1 to 9. That's what we call a standard form. And then the number here determines what the exponents will be, right? So if you watch that video, you understand better. I don't want this video to be long, so let's continue. This is what we call a standard form, since the number here is between 1 to 9, right? Can you see that? 1 to 9, the number before the point here, this is 9, so it's accepted. Then we have 9.3 multiplied by that, and so on and so forth. So how do you multiply? Obviously you have to check whether the two of them are all in standard form, right? This was also in standard form, because the law says that the number before the multiplication sign has to be between 1 to 9, and of course this is 2, it's accepted. Is that okay? All right, so now since these two guys are in standard form, then we can proceed and multiply. That's the first step you have to check. The two of them are in standard form, so we can multiply. But how do you multiply? You multiply this guy to that guy, right? I mean everything here before the multiplication sign to everything before the multiplication sign. So this guy to that, right? So we are multiplying 9.3, sorry, by 2, right? And then the 10 exponent, the 10 families also go to one side, right? So that is the second step. That is how you multiply. So when you multiply that by that, it will give you 18.6. And then for the exponent, the 10 family is that you apply the law of indices. Don't worry if you don't know the indices. That one says that if you are multiplying, right? If you are multiplying, of course, 10 by 10, this 10 exponent 2 is going to multiply 10 exponent 3. If you are multiplying, you have to make sure that you are multiplying. If you are multiplying, then you add the exponent, right? The red pen over here. So since we are multiplying, we are going to add the top, right? That is the law of indices. Is that okay? So since we are multiplying, then the exponent will give me 10 plus 2 plus 3. Of course the bases are the same. Is that okay? The bases has to be this is 10, this is 10. So that is how you multiply in the first place, right? So when you multiply that by that, will give me 18.6, and then you multiply that by that, it will give me 10 exponent 3. 10 exponent 5, sorry, 10 exponent 5. You can see that, right? Okay, remember that where we are right now, we are in the standard form, right? We are in the standard form. So how does the standard form look like? You have to make sure that everybody that you come across in that industry has to be in standard form. The question is, does this guy look like a standard form? No, it is not. The reason is that the standard form tells us that the number here has to be between 1 to 9, right? Up to 9, right? Before the decimal point, so 1 to 9. But look at what you're having 18, so you are not qualified. You have to make sure that you bring this guy down to the standard form. Then how do you do that? Let me wipe this side, and then let me show you how to tackle that. If you don't know, you end here, you end this side, then it means that you are not done. Is that okay? So you have to make sure that you convert. You have a video on how to rewrite every number into a standard form. So maybe I'll leave a link down below for you to check that. We are having 18.6, right? So this is what we are having. So this guy, you have to convert this guy to a standard form. So this one will give me what this point has to go back, right? Because the aim of going back is that you want to know that the law says that the number before the point maybe has to be between 1 to 9, right? 1 to 9. If you don't know, you go forward, and then you are spoiling the game. So then you have to come back. That's what 1.86, right? Have you see that the number here is from 1 to 9? Of course, this guy is qualified. Once you move back, then the 10 here is a standby, right? Then the 10 here is a standby. So if this 10 is a standby, you move back. Obviously, every number here is more than 0. Is that okay? If the numbers that you are dealing with is more than 0, then the exponent of this one will be a positive, right? That was just a law you have to obey. Is that okay? Check that video, you understand better, or subscribe to our YouTube channel, whereby anytime you post you get alerts. Right? If you don't understand, just comment down below. We are ready to help you, or you may join our WhatsApp group or email me for your support. Alright, so here this one goes back. Since the number you are dealing with, the numbers here are more than 0, so the exponent of the 10 will be positive. But for you to determine the number here, depending on the number of times you move the point. So here you move just 1, so this one giving you 10 exponent 1, right? 10 exponent. This is for just the 18.6, right? Remember you have this guy here, right? This is for 80.3, so this one will multiply by the 10.5 that 10 exponent 5 that you already have. Is that okay? Now this is just look like the normal multiplication, so this will be 1.86 multiplied by what happened. These bases are the same. Remember what I said earlier on, you add the exponent, right? So this one will be 1 plus 6, that will give you 10 exponent 6. So this is how you solve a multiply in standard form. This is when the questions that you are dealing with are already in standard form. Now I have a very nice question here, whereby the numbers that they give you are all not in a standard form. You can see you have a 0.0048 and so on and so forth. This guy is not in the standard form. The law of the standard form says that for you to be part of the standard form company or family, you have to make sure that the number before the point here has to be between 1 to 9. That is the law. You cannot disobey that law. If you want to disobey, then you can never be part of the standard family, right? So that is what you say. Then it is your duty to know how to multiply this. So let's check that. Of course, this is a pure past question. So let's see the past questions. Okay. Here is it, right? They say without using a calculator or table, evaluate that and leave your answer in a standard form, right? So that is the question. Now let's see how to do that. So the first thing you have to make sure that since this guy, unlike the first one, everybody is in standard form, that's why you proceed straight forward and multiply. But in the case whereby the numbers or the people, I mean these are the people that I'm talking about, right? 0.048 and so on and so forth. So the numbers that we are dealing with are not in the standard form. The people here are not in the standard form. Then you have to make sure that you convert everything to a whole number, right? What I mean by a whole number, a number without a point, right? A number without what? A point. Is that okay? That is what we call a whole number. That is when the numbers that we are dealing with, everybody is not in the standard form. Even if you want one of them is not in the standard form, you have to make sure that you convert all of them to a whole number. Do your multiplication nicely, then you convert your final answer to the standard form. So let's check on how to do this. So this is what we are having. You have to make sure that you convert this guy to a whole number. What I mean by a whole number, there will be no points, right? There will be no decimal points. Is that okay? So when I move the decimal point here, you can see this is a security guy here. So I have to move guy 1, 2, 3, 4. So obviously I'm going forward how many times? 4 times. Right? We know how to convert from this guy to maybe a standard form or something beyond the standard form. So once you go forward, since the number here is less than 1, right? We say this is 0 point something, is less than 1, tells you that the exponent of the 10 will be negative, right? We also have a video on that. Is that okay? But the summary to that is that just know the number that you are dealing with. You are dealing with a number that is less than 1, right? So less than 1 means 0 point something and so on and so forth. 0 point, 0 point, 0 point. Then once it's a 0 point, tells you that the exponent of the 10 will be negative, right? If it is 1 point something, 2 point something, 3 point something, anything beyond 1, then the exponent of the 10 will be what? A positive. So in this case, you can see that we are dealing with 0 point something, right? 0 point, so the exponent of the 10 will be what? Negative. So how many times you are moving? 1, 2, 3, 4. So you move 4 times. So that will give me what? A 48, right? 48.12. 10 exponent of 4. The same thing. I think all the numbers here look similar, right? So the same way you have to convert everybody. So when you convert that one, will give you 81.12. 10 exponent negative 2. And then down here will give me what? 27 times 10 exponent 4. And then here will give me what? 4 times 10 exponent of negative 3, right? Okay, so very simple. That's how you do that. Notice how I put everything into bracket, right? Just step by step. Don't be in a hurry. No one is chasing you. Now let's move on. So what happened? So we know how to multiply earlier on, right? We know how to multiply. So you multiply this guy by that guy, right? This guy by that guy. Anything before the multiplication sign, you multiply them into one. So this is exactly what I did here. And then the tens family. So as you see, this 10 exponent, this 10 will also go into one part. Is that okay? So the same applies to the down, right? So when you multiply nicely, I'm just rearranging for the multiplication, right? That's what I do. For a number before the multiplication sign to the number before the multiplication, and then the tens family also go to one side. Okay, so perfect. When you multiply 48 by what 81, you are going to get 3,888, right? 3,888. And then the down here, when you multiply 27 by 4, you are going to get 108, right? Now pay attention here. So what I said earlier on is that here we are having the exponent of the 10. The two of them are multiplying. Is that okay? So the law say if they are multiplying, what do? You add the exponent, right? This is just a law. If it makes sense, fine. If it doesn't make sense, leave this thing for the advanced mathematician, whereby they can apply the theory in your daily lives. All right. So maybe you also just pass your education and move on to the next level of your education, right? Maybe your sister. Okay, now we add, when you add negative, is that okay? So you are going to get negative 4 plus what? Minus 2. This one will give me what? Minus 6, right? So that is exactly what I'm having here. So I'm having here to be what? Minus 6. And then the down to you're having minus 7. Minus 4 plus or minus 3. That will give me what? A minus 7, right? Now how do you move to from here to here? Is that okay? That is where the divisions comes in. When you are dividing, unlike a multiplication, when you are multiplying, you add the exponent. So when you are dividing, you subtract the exponent. Is that okay? Maybe you may write it somewhere. When you are multiplying, the bases are the same. The indices, that's the law of the indices, right? Should, in case you forgot, I'm just reminding you, right? Even if you don't know, that is okay. The bases are the same. You have to make sure that you multiply. When you are multiplying, then you add the exponent. But when you are dividing, you have to make sure that you subtract. And how do you subtract? You subtract the top one minus the down one, right? So in the other way around, the down one subtracted from the top one. This is what I mean. So this one will give me what? The top one, which is minus 6, right? Minus 7. Can you see that? Right? Always the top one minus the down one. So this and this will give you minus 6 plus 7, and this will be equal to 1. Right? That is very simple. That will be equal to 1. Is that okay? So that's why I got 10 exponent to 1 here. So when I divide this 3,888 by 108, then I'm going to get 36. Just divide this one to that, and then the 10 to the 10. So I'm getting what? 36 by 10 exponent to 1. That is very simple. This is how you multiply and divide in your standard form. If you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just smash that and then comment down below, like our video, so anytime that you post, you make sure that you get notified. Thanks for watching.